Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News. The voices of President John Adams and First Lady and abolitionist Abigail Adams recently came to the Arnolds Mill Community House. Professional reenactors Michael LePage and Audrey Stuck-Gerard brought the American leaders to life in an interview-style conversation that's part of a trilogy of programs called Quests for America's Freedom. DoubleACS spoke with the reenactors after the event.
My name is Audrey Stuck-Gerard. I am a living history interpreter. I frequently portray Abigail Adams, and I've come here tonight to talk with my friend Mike, who portrays John Adams, about the lives of the Adamses, focusing in the year 1804, looking back on John's presidency and their lengthy political career leading up to it. There is a lot of research that goes into it, but both my colleague Mike and I have been performing these roles for many years, so we frequently go and find new books about the Adamses to read, which will sort of re-trigger ideas in our head. It's really important to bring these individuals to life not as a pinnacle or a strongman argument of history, but as a way to make these real people who dealt with extended families and nursing the sick and traveling across the ocean and their own views on different forms of Protestantism and on slavery and on women's education. By bringing all of that information to light, it really makes these individuals graspable. And by making it graspable, by bringing people in, we're able to more fully tell the story of history, both the good and the bad, not just a small canned line that quickly encompasses a moment of time, but really a view, a window into the past that we can see a much broader picture. I operate a small personal business called Cuffed and Coiffed. I make 18th century men's wigs and do other historical costuming, but I also use my website, cuffedandcoiffed.com, as well as my social media account as a way for people to reach me for any historical interpretation, performances or lectures or discussions that they might be interested in. So you can feel free to reach out there.
Michael LePage, historian and historical interpreter. And what brought myself and Audrey out this evening is to play John and Abigail Adams in a conversational format, much as they would if they were entertaining guests or they were with family and friends talking about various points of their lives and their time together, their time apart. For every performance, there are hours and hours and hours spent in reading, in researching through a computer, in most especially primary sources, namely their letters. And we're most fortunate, Audrey and I, with playing John and Abigail Adams because they wrote voraciously. There are an endless amount of letters, courtesy of Adams National Park and the Massachusetts Historical Society. And unlike other founding fathers, they had a lot to say. There are founding fathers who write and who speak, and you still don't quite know them, but you read enough letters between the Adamses or to others, their friends or family, and you know exactly what they think at various points in their lives, especially in John's case, because he not only wrote letters to Mrs. Adams, but he also kept a journal. He attempted to write an autobiography, which he, of course, gave up on, and he wrote numerous documents for the Congress, including thoughts on government, and, of course, he came home after his trip to France and wrote the Massachusetts Constitution, which is the oldest written constitution today. I was a bicentennial kid during the 1970s, and to be able to portray someone like John Adams and bring him to life, along with Audrey as Abigail Adams, to me is just one of the great pleasures in life. And I'm so proud and honored to do it.